Well, hello everyone, gone but not forgotten for a little while. Here we are, it is news day, and yes, I am aware that I have skipped a bit. Had some stuff on the go, and yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that for now. So, talking about JP news today, we actually do have some JP news, and I think it will be interesting, to say the least, for some people, especially a particular group of much maligned players in terms of a summon. So that's pretty exciting. All right, first off, we're going to have Defend the Castle Gates. We've seen this event before. As always, nice to see it come back, as it is, some content that is not multiplayer, not PvP focused, but just a little bit of single player focused. Notable enemy types this time around. I guess I should back up for a second and talk about, for people who don't know, basically this event, you are in a courtyard, you're protecting the gates, kind of a protect mission, and waves of enemies are coming at you, and it's like, how long can you survive? Can you get to the end? And all right, now, I guess that we've explained it. We do have this, which is essentially fire type enemies for both like regular enemies and bosses, and then we have ice type enemies for water and bosses. So I guess they want you to focus on fire and water characters, which are types that have shown up recently. Building a team, probably just pure water would actually be good enough with some of the bonuses that water has been getting lately. So yeah, I'm interested to see what this event will be like, whether they've upped the difficulty or made it a little bit easier, how that will go. All right, next up, limit burst farming. For people who are interested in the limit burst, not me really as of such right now, as I have yet to find a character that I've really wanted to get their limit burst. Charlotte was the closest up until now, but really I am waiting for just like later characters, because it'll probably be a little bit more better value. So yeah, not too terribly much here, just limit burst army or equipment. This will be the third one on JP. People are keeping track at home. Next up, we have this, which is the next of the wave battles. We're probably getting close to, if not this being the last one. And we are looking at essentially armor. We're looking at a glove as well as a set of armor. Pretty cool. I do like the idea of a defensive. We are seeing, let me just see if I have the actual names. Gloves and armor door. And I'm curious about this because there are some like glove-based users that I would be interested to see how powerful this could end up being. This might be actually one that I go for, just for the simple fact that the equipment is interesting to me. Whereas quite a few of them, I just haven't had the motivation to really play or do that much into. One day I'll come do it, and by then it will be easier, so maybe that's good. Anyway, so yes, that'll be starting on September 22nd. The Friday, which I should mention is the update day. So more news after Wotv Calc or somebody gets these and fully maxes them to see whether they're good or not. But also just new armor for tanks or heavy armor units should be good. And now we come to the big news of the video, which is the new VC, a 60 cost VC for specific damage types, but most importantly, an Esper job VC, which is very interesting. Because, I mean, lower cost, and of course, I don't think that I really need to introduce this guy, but just in case, everyone's favorite octopod, one that answers a age-old question of what's better than 9 tickles? 10 tickles. Okay. I've been waiting to get that one. Oh, anyway, so what can we learn from this? Well, actually, this is yet another water Esper, which is pretty cool. Also, I love the artwork with the icon being Typhoon. Sorry. just kind of a combination pairing between, like, which reminds me of like Final Fantasy VI, as well as least or one that I should not forget, which is the Final Fantasy 13-2 DLC, which was really great back in the day. I actually really loved that DLC. But Ultros here is a water elemental Esper, and interestingly, his attack is classified as water magic damage. I assume that he will be a physical Esper because he come out around the time of a water physical elemental character, and Dark Siren already came out in a water magical character. So if we are getting like water magic Esper into water magic Esper, that seems a little redundant unless this is just like a cost reduced version. Either way, for 10k, guaranteeing a new water Esper is going to be very tempting for some people out there who have been waiting for this kind of Esper. We'll have more details on whether the Esper himself is like supporting of physical characters or magical characters. I think it would be great, however, if he has a magical base attack, but he is for physical elemental characters. I think that will be good. And if he's water spear, might change some evaluation on certain characters and just a spear Esper in general, potentially. But of course, we also have the VC details. So bestowed effects on the specific unit are attack up and critical rate up, a very physical based bonus. And as for party effects, we're looking at magic attack resistance and critical damage up. Now, last but not least, for maxing out the VC, you will get piercing attack up. So no surprise that this job VC is equipable to spear users, which should be, expected kind of thing. This is essentially the card for Gernsbeck. I think I got that name right. But it'll also equipable for staff users as well as sword in the classification of red mage. So spear users, everyone should basically get what that means. I mean, glassy, for example, flag glassy, regular glassy will also be usable in this. And of course, just all the spear users, basically. That will be quite happy about that. Now, if we are looking at characters that are included in the staff category, well, Soul's group. Soul, Lena, what else? I'm just looking. Amnilist. Yeah, that's right, right? What else? Resnick, that group, basically. Minwoo, for people who are keeping track at home. Those are all the characters that will be able to use this. And in terms of the Sword Red Mage group, what a great one for water, because we are looking at characters such as, but not included to, Reagan. We're looking at, of course, Ramada for lower cost, Swimsuit Glassy. We're looking at, of course, Ferris. We're looking at Miranda. There's a ton of water-based synergy in this BC, as you would much expect. But interestingly, there's also decent ice synergy here. We're looking at characters such as Jaden, we're looking at Reagan, and we're looking at the newer ice version of Howlet, all getting bonuses off of this, where Earth Elementals are looking at potentially Oberyn, as well as there was one other Earth character on here. Interesting, but I can't see it. Even in just a combination potentially of water and earth might be a cool combination, since you can get some spear synergy in here too. I'm not saying that it would work 100 like for certain, but it is at least interesting. Oh, Dialdo, that's the other one. But a nice little BC across multiple types of units, potentially bonus, generally beneficial to physical units more, but the fact that the party ability is like critical damage and magic resistance is universally beneficial, where the just maxing it out just really benefits spear users. It also is kind of a bit of a drawback, because until you max it, you're essentially not getting anything for Gernsbeck, which is kind of a little bit sad, or well, you're not getting as much, but that piercing damage is locked pretty far behind. And overall, I think this VC is pretty nice. Just a low-cost Esper is always great for every player to potentially get. It's permanent addition to the pool, which is always great, and it's one of the more iconic Final Fantasy creatures. Ultros himself, so 10 tickles for everybody. And last but not least, we talked about this before. I'm just going to bring this up one more time. We have the Another Story live stream, which will be happening. And interestingly enough, Another Story, this is, I don't know if I think I did not mention this or it was added later, but this is essentially a pre-recorded video. There's going to be a gift. There's going to be like a message from the voice actor. They're going to talk about the creation of Another Story. So I think that's interesting for quite a few people who love Another Story. Me personally, I also like it, but if this is like a premiere thing, I'm just going to watch it later and potentially get, if any, news out of this thing and just make a video on it later. Not just going to live stream this because this is pretty just something that I'm not super right now, but I will do an update later about what has come out of this and if it was worth the time or anything. So cool. So that's basically the JP news for this week. This week obviously being, a little bit, we got TGS starting tomorrow morning with the opening keynote, going for about 4 days over the weekend. And then, we're getting close to the end of the month. We're only about 10 days away. Next Saturday is going to be it, which means that Sunday early morning or Saturday late night, depending on how you see it, that's going to be the next character introduction for JP. It's also the end of Final Fantasy VIII collaboration, and Global should be catching up with us really, really shortly, if the worldwide version is to believe that it is a thing. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I just bumped my table, and see you next time.